So you want to build a beach house, or any kind of house really. The steps are basically the same. So number one, you got to have a piece of land. You got to have a lot somewhere, right? You need somewhere to build the house. So that's your first step. Find a lot that you like, purchase that. So once you have that in your pocket, go look for a builder. If you know a builder, great. Now you don't have to have a builder on day one, but the builder is going to ask you, when you go looking for a builder, they're going to ask you, well, what kind of house do you want to build? Where is it? Do you have a house plan? So finding a builder and getting a house plan done, or buying a house plan, are kind of intermingled there, or should be done about the same time. Because the builder can't give you an estimate of how much it's going to cost until he can have a plan to look at. And then, so it's good to have a plan first, I would say. Unless you already, if you already have a relationship with a builder, that's fantastic. You can work with him over and over. You know pretty much what he's going to need. So when I do this, well, first you always have to have land first. My first step is to get a plan. And, we've been doing this for 10 or 12 years. So I've got a builder or two that I always work with. And so, I'm constantly communicating and say, hey, I got a piece of land, I want to build this. I'm getting the plan done, I'll send it to you. So I pretty much know what we need. So the first, so you'll need an architect or someone that's a draftsman type person that pretty much only does home design. Because when you go into, say you go into a neighborhood, most of the neighborhoods, the HOAs have a list of approved builders or approved designers. So you'll have to work with that. So that's another thing. Once you have your land, check your HOA to see if there's a list of approved builders and designers. Because the HOA kind of likes to keep things looking about the same. You can go through some of these neighborhoods and every fourth house looks like the other one, But there's a common theme that runs through the neighborhoods that, it's okay, but, you can always go a little bit outside the line, but, there is that common theme that runs through these neighborhoods. So once you have a plan done, then you're going to need engineering. Well, get the plan, give it to your builder, see how much it's going to cost to build. He can look at it and do what's called a takeoff. And he can look at the plan or give it to someone. They'll run it through a program, or they will do it the old-fashioned way and measure the walls and fit. You know how much lumber and nails and stuff you need for a running foot of wall space. So they'll measure the walls and calculate like that. So anyway, or you can just run it through a software program and it comes back in about 30 seconds. Okay, so once you have that, give it to your builder, let him price it. If that's okay with you, then take the plan, send the plan, or he may send the plan to engineering. So you have to have a structural engineer look at the plan. They'll tell you what kind of nails to use. They know the codes like crazy. So they will tell you, and they may even do extra pages of drawings showing how to do this portion of the house. But they'll spec out everything, all the kind of lumber you need, kind of nails, the concrete that you need, all that sort of thing. How to strap down the roof. Now in South Texas where I am, we get a thing called hurricanes, and it's required that we do strapping. It's called hurricane strapping. It's long pieces of metal that if you've got a wall like this, that piece of metal goes up one side, over the top, and down the other side, and it's all nailed in, hold that lumber down. So hopefully it doesn't blow off. But anyway, get the engineering done. Now I'll tell you pricing. My pricing, so I've got one house that was about 2,100 square feet that I built. The plan for that, the design plan was roughly $5,000. Engineering was another $7,000. So you've spent, but when you get your land, you can easily spend 10, 12, 15,000 on a plan and engineering. And if the house is larger than that, 3,000 or 4,000 square feet, double it, maybe even triple it. So you're in quite a bit before you even go buy a piece of 2x4. And that was one. So, and then after that, turn it over to your builder. I would say as a homeowner, get a builder that you trust, because you may want to be there every day watching, but you really shouldn't, because there's things, unless you're very experienced at building homes or renovating homes, whatever, there's a lot of things you're not going to understand. So just trust your builder. They'll do it right, because when they do something, when they get to a certain point in the build, they always have to call the city. The city or the county will send an inspector out. They will go over to make sure everything is built to code, whatever the current code is, building code. And if it's not, they'll make the builder redo it. So, you know, there's a check and balance there. So, but trust them. And if there's something you want to change, there's a thing. Unless he's really, really friendly, if you want to move a wall or something, that's likely going to be a change order, and that's going to cost you money, because it's going to cost him money in labor and materials, and it's going to push the timeline back. So it's going to take longer to build the house if you keep making changes during the process. So I would advise, do not do that, unless it's like a paint color. But once you have a plan, a design, you give it to your builder, don't change anything, because it's just going to frustrate you, and it's going to frustrate your builder. So, you know, just live, I don't know what to say, but if, you know, some people do that. They make changes every 2 weeks, and what should take 6 months to build ends up taking over a year, and it's just not a good situation. You want to fire the builder wants to fire you. So agree on a plan and stick with it. If you don't like it, move in, stay there a couple of years. If you don't like it, sell it. Do another one and do it the way you want it. There's a thing called, so the city and county will come out and do their inspections. And then once you're really, really close to finishing, if not finished, the builder will check with the city. They'll call the city out to do what's called a certificate of occupancy, a CO is what it's nicknamed, the abbreviations for it. So once you get the CO, they'll come out, they'll go through everything, they'll test all the plugs, all the electrical outlets. They actually test those, or they have the builder do it and give them proof that everything works. There's a little thing you plug in, just checking every one of them. They'll do a pressure test on all the plumbing system to make sure there's no leaks anywhere. They'll check the ACs. They'll check the seal of the house. They may even check all the windows. They'll certainly come out and check for all that strapping I talked about earlier, but that's in the framing stage before insulation and before shear wall and sheetrock go on. So that's way early in the process. But anyway, it's fun to do. It's really fun, and okay, it's the next morning. Sorry about that. I was trying to do a quick video during an open house that I was having yesterday, and a very nice couple came to the door right as I was getting into almost to the end, but and they stayed for over an hour. So very nice couple, and they love the house. You know, everybody does that comes and looks at it, because it's just gorgeous. And anyway, it's got a nice view on a big couple of acres, and it's just, you know, almost a one-of-a-kind kind of thing. But anyway, so we were talking about, so you want to build a house, and there are some basic steps. Now, you know, those steps may change depending on what kind of house you're building and where it is. But basically, it's first, you got to have your land, right? That's number one. Get a plan, get a builder. That's almost simultaneously. And then your engineering, and then once you decide to do that, get your costs and everything from your builder. And if everything's okay and it's all go, then he will go apply for permits with the city or the county, whatever situation you're in. And if you have an HOA, they more than likely have to approve the plan, which most of the ones, well, every single one I've been, well, no, except for one I was out in the country where there were no codes, no HOAs or anything. So anyway, basic steps to building a house. If you want to learn more about that process, feel free to reach out. And if it's a quick question, I'll answer you. But if you want to have a in-depth conversation, maybe a little guidance, a little consultation, I offer that too. So get in touch, and maybe we can work something out. And so anyway, got some nice videos coming out, house tours. that we so what so what we do is we buy, we sell, and we build. So the three major components of real estate: buy, sell, build. Or there's also rent. So we also do some renting, some leasing of homes that we own. So we haven't done any commercial yet, but I'm leaning into that. Not so much office space, office buildings, because this is 2026 and there's still a lot of people working from home. So office buildings in the Houston, South Texas area, a lot of them are being converted to apartments. People are big builders, big corporations are going in, gutting the whole insides and building apartments out of them, or condos that you can buy. So a lot of that's happening with the office buildings. So anyway, there'll be more videos coming out, home tours, maybe some financial stuff between renting and buying and leasing. Should you do it? Should you not? So anyway, sort of an all-around real estate scenario channel. So anyway, thanks for watching, and hit that subscribe button. This is a brand new channel. My other channel is Gulf Coast Living, where I do started off primarily doing cooking classes, because that's another passion of mine, as you can tell. Never trust a skinny cook, and I'm not that. So anyway, all right. Thanks for watching. Hit subscribe if you like the videos so far, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.